Hello and welcome to another episode of the Marketing 101 for Small Business Owners podcast. I am your host, Philippa Channer. Thank you for joining us today. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to this podcast so you never miss another episode. All right, and today we're going to be immersing ourselves into the intricate world of building a robust brand identity. It's not merely about the aesthetics. It's about creating a lasting connection with you and your audience. Whether you're B2B or B2C, understanding the essence of your brand is the cornerstone of success. So let's try and dip through this mystery of brand identity and get some answers today. My first point is about understanding your brand identity. So let's start by delving into what does that even mean? This goes way beyond the visual elements. It's about the values, your personality, and your emotions, all of that your brand evokes. Your colors, your logo, your color palette, and messaging, it should all be collectively cohesive to tell a compelling story about your brand and about who you are and what you represent. So think of it as your business's unique fingerprint, something that sets you apart in a crowded marketplace. It's that vibe, that feeling, the energy when somebody thinks about your brand, how you want them to think about you. So for instance, if I mention certain brands that are really popular like McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Walmart, Twitter, all of those, it for each of us has some type of vibe behind it from experiences that we've had. Those experiences that you engage with a brand, either from stories you hear about them, personal engagement that you have in these locations, it sets a tone for you. So whenever you think of these brands in the future, that's the brand identity that you've established for them. What we want as business owners to take control of that brand identity, not allow people to create their own identity for us, but us to set the tone. And again, it's not just our visuals, it's really much deeper. So when crafting your brand identity, consider your target audience and what you want them to think about. What resonates with them? What values do they hold dear? Your brand should align with the aspirations and preferences of your ideal customer. And it's about creating a connection that goes beyond just the transaction of, okay, buy this. It's about building a relationship with them. So take a critical look at successful brands that you admire. What are some of the elements of their brand identity that really stand out that you want to try and adapt? Analyze their messaging, their visual identity, and the emotions that they're evoking. This will provide some valuable insight into what works and how you can infuse it in an authentic way into your own brand. So what you need to do is define your brand persona. Is your brand playful and energetic, or is it more serious and professional? Understand the personality of your brand. That's going to help you create consistent and relatable messages across all of the touch points you have. All right, so we're going to explore how a strong brand identity can directly impact your local business. In the bustling DC market, standing out is not just a goal, it's a necessity. If you've ever been to networking events, depending on your industry, you're likely going to find other people doing the same thing and pushing the same services you are. So you need to do what you can to stand out and be relevant to your ideal customer. So whether you're catering to other businesses or connecting with consumers, a powerful brand identity is your ticket to success. You need to understand your brand identity and know how to evoke it. When you're in a networking crowd and in the local business. All right. So in a city as vibrant and as diverse as Montgomery County and DC, all of our areas around this area, we've got so many different things going on, so many different diversities to consider. Your brand needs to speak the language of the locals. Understand the unique characteristics of your local market and incorporate them into your brand identity. This could be reflected in your messaging, your imagery, or even collaborations that you do with local influencers. You need to build trust. A strong brand identity is building trust at all times. When your business has a consistent and recognizable brand, it instills confidence in your audience. Local customers are more likely to choose a business they trust, and your brand identity is a powerful tool in building that trust with them. All right, and then adaptability. Local markets can be dynamic, and your brand needs to adapt while maintaining its core identity. I mean, just obviously in the last few years with COVID, Me marketing in my very hyper local area here in Montgomery County, I've seen so many changes already just evolving from the way that B2B businesses interact and the different ways that we engage. So it was important for me to see those trends coming and adapt with them. And that's the same thing here. We need to explore strategies that's going to keep our brand relevant and engaging in this ever-evolving environment and ever-evolving landscape. As a business owner, you got to keep on your toes. Okay, and the last point for today is developing your brand. We're going to look at tactics and best practices. All right, so how do you go about developing this brand identity? I've talked about how important it is, how it's building trust, building credibility. It's, obviously something we really need to focus on and be very unique and specific about what our brand identity is. But so how do we go about developing this? It's not a one size fit all scenario. Tailoring your approach to your unique business is essential. So let's look at some practical strategies and best practices that we can employ. So step-by-step development. First, you need to start with a comprehensive brand audit. Basically, really take a look at your brand, assess your current brand elements and how they align with your business goals. Identify some of your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, your threats, the good old SWOT analysis. And this lays the groundwork for intentional and strategic development. So take a look at your brand, see where it's strongest, where it has some gaps, and see how you can really play on what you have going for you. Next, target audience alignment. Your brand should be a reflection of your target audience's aspirations. You need to, if you want them to see you as a solution to the problem you're facing, you need to walk the walk and talk the talk. And so if you're not applying your own services and to enhance your own brand, there's going to be some questions. So you really need to reflect on who your target audience is, what they're going through, what their struggles are, and making sure that you're aligning with those. One of the ways to really understand your target audience is to create some buyer personas. Really kind of create this image of this ideal person who you want to sell to and tailor your messages to this person. That way they can resonate with their needs and really answer what they're looking for. All right, and then we have the visual identity mastery. Your visual identity is the face of your brand. I mentioned it's not just your fonts, it's not just your colors, it's not just your logo, but those do play a part in this overall process. And so you do want to think carefully about the colors that you have selected for your brand. Colors do evoke certain emotions. There's several different sources out there. If you search for brand colors, you will see all the different colors and what they mean and what they stand for. So make sure that the colors you've selected align with some of the core values you want to emanate. Look at the fonts you've selected, making sure that they're clear and concise, that they're fonts that your target audience finds appealing. And you also want to just kind of overall look at your marketing messaging on your website, on your social media. Is it very self-focused, meaning me, here's about my business, here's what we can do for you, and less about the problems that your customers are facing and giving them some valuable solutions? You want to take a look at all those visual identities and how they play a part. That was a lot in terms of brand identity, but it's a good way to kick off this series. And as we wrap up this deep dive into brand identity, let's just recap a lot of the takeaways we've talked about. We explored the multifaceted nature of brand identity, its impact on our local businesses, and some practical strategies for development. Remember, your brand is an ongoing journey of discovery and connection. So this is not going to be something you do once and then just set it and forget it. It's a constant thing you need to work on. So as we close out today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Applying these insights to your business can be transformative. You want to embrace the process and don't be afraid to showcase the unique personality of your brand. The journey to a strong identity is an investment that pays dividends in building lasting connections within your community. Before we go, make sure that you're subscribed to all on our channels. We've got more valuable insights coming your way and you don't want to miss out. So we're going to continue this journey into our brand identity next week. And if you're ready to take your brand to the next level and just need a little push, a little help, I'm offering free consultation sessions. Just check out the link in the description to schedule your session. Let's make your brand shine together. And finally, Join us next week as we continue our journey into the world of branding. Our next topic is crafting a brand story, another essential aspect of building a remarkable brand. So until then, this is Philippa Channer saying peace out, stay inspired, stay creative, and I'll catch up with you on our next episode.